Hey guys, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play 999. Now I know that Zero Time Dilemma has taken over my channel. It has taken over my brain. That is all I want to do is play this game right now. I keep building my backlog of ZTD, and because I've been so focused on dealing with ZTD and I have other stuff going on in my life, I haven't had the time to record 999. And that makes me feel so bad because I really like this game too. And I should have finished it before I started ZTD, but I was impatient. So anyway, I tried to record this episode with Piccolo and unfortunately we got interrupted. So what we're going to do, he's going to send me I actually sent him like a script and stuff, so he's going to send me his recorded parts, and it might not be in this episode, so it might be for the next one and the next few. But yeah, so he will eventually be joining me again, technically. His voice will be doing the voice for Seven and who else? Seven, Ace, and Snake? No, I did Snake. I don't remember, but for sure Seven and Ace. Because those are the two that I think I sound the weirdest at. So, I apologize that for this episode and maybe the next one, I don't know. But for a while you have to deal with me doing these weird versions of their voices. But yeah, so I don't even remember where we left off. I'm pretty sure we reunited with the whole group. That's all I remember. So, let's continue on. I'm so happy to get back to this game, man. I do love this game. Even though it's still semi-blind, I have seen Pharaoh play it, so. The only difference is, this one requires a lot of voice acting and narration, so it's a little more tiring than ZTD, which, you get to just watch cutscenes and stuff, so. Alright. From far away, Junpei heard the bell ring. It did so only once. It was 1 a.m. But I do really like this game. I like both. And VLR is really great too. He jogged through the entrance of the large hospital room to find 6 of the others already there. Ace, Santa, Clover, June, Seven, and Lotus. They had gathered in front of door number 8. Or perhaps to be accurate, they had gathered in front of the red next to door number 8. Had one of them found the missing piece? Oh, that's right. What happened, guys? It was June who answered him. Jumpy, look! She was pointing at the red. It's so disconcerting because I've been playing ZTD. Like, I look at June, or Akane, and she's so different here. But then again, if you think about it, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it too much. I mean, if anybody's watching this blind, I don't want to say anything, but it'll be kind of weird because then you're watching ZTD too, or I don't know. You know what? I will talk about it at the end of the game. That's what I would do. Alright, let's continue. He pushed through the others until he stood in front of it. It's on. Immediately, he knew what she had meant. The display on the front of the read vacant. Junpei sighed. Come on, guys. Who was it? I thought we were supposed to yell if we found it. Well... Junpei wondered why she was hesitating. The others looked as confused as June, but kept their mouths shut. What the hell? What is up with you guys? They all knew something he didn't, and Junpei wasn't about to leave things that way. Finally, Lotus frowned and spoke. Well, that's the thing. We don't know. You don't know? When I got back, it was already like this. There was no one else here. That means I was the first one back, but the missing parts were already back in the red. Junpei looked at the bottom of the red again, just to make sure. Dude, it's on. The slat that had been open on the bottom was now covered with metal. Clearly, whatever had been missing had been returned. What about the other two? They're the same. Junpei quickly examined the other two boxes. Can't take her word for it, apparently. Satisfied that they were also repaired, but still very confused, he returned to the others. Alright, I just want to be sure here. Nobody has any idea what the hell happened here, right? Ace and June nodded silently. Seven raised his hands as if to say, not me, and Santa just shrugged. Only Clover lowered her head and did nothing. Okay, where's my bae? Huh. Wait a minute. That was when he noticed. Where's Snake? Yeah, come on. My darling, come back. Where are you? Junpei swept his eyes across the room a second time, but Snake was nowhere to be seen. Does that mean that he found them? I've no idea. There's nothing to suggest it, but nothing to suggest he didn't either. I don't suppose we'll know until we can ask him in person. Here we go. Alright, you guys can laugh at my stupid voice for 7. I know Smooth was very amused by it. Well, whatever he did or didn't do, he's pretty damn late. What the hell's he up to? Maybe he's lost? Yeah, well, that seems likely. Dude can't see. I don't know how he gets around in the first place. Clover raised her head. Uh-oh. No! That's impossible! Suddenly she was shouting. Yeah, my brother's blind, but he's got really great hearing. He can get around as well as anyone who can see. So he couldn't get lost. That's impossible. Clover had started to shake, and the knuckles of her hands had gone white. I just noticed, is that acne on her face? If so, I feel bad for her, and then at the same time, that's really realistic, because she's a teenager, so. She spun around, but before she did, Junpei noticed tears welling up in her eyes. I'm gonna go look for him. The words were barely out of her mouth when she began to run. Hey! Hold on, Clover! Wait! Junpei cried out to her, but he was too slow. She kept going, and before anyone else could react, she was gone. Damn it. What should we do now? Well, the red is working now. No, we're not leaving 2 people behind. We should go look for them. Aw, man, this ain't good. Oh yes, what an excellent idea. We just wasted a bunch of time looking for some piece of electronic junk. Now let's waste some more by looking for a couple of idiots. Santa, you're such a douche, but he's totally right. They wasting so much time in this game. Oh gosh. But, you know, they do need to find him, because what about the whole bracelet number thing? So yeah. Then remain here if you feel you must, but there's no time. We've only 5 hours left. Junpei and the others nodded to one another and took off at a run. Okay. In front of the stairs that led to B deck, they decided to split up. They quickly assigned search areas and went their separate ways. Soon only 2 of them were left. Those 2 were Junpei and June, who had been a few steps behind the others. Alright, we should go too. Yes, let's go. But where should we start? Let's see. Okay, we'll just go from top to bottom, so. The casino. How about the casino on B deck? Okay, sounds good. They took off up the stairs at a run. Before they knew it, they were there. So was Lotus. She was leaning against the wall, examining her nails. Girl, what are you doing? You gonna piss me off. Hey, what do you think you're doing? She glanced up at him, unimpressed. Isn't it obvious? I'm looking for Snake. No, you're not. You're looking at your nails, you frickin' heifer. I'm just not seeing it. Really? Maybe you need to look harder. Junpei didn't think that was the problem. Oh, by the way, I've got a proposal for you two. Care to hear it? Can we just refuse and leave? I don't want to hear it, but then I kind of am curious what she has to say. Oh, I'm tempted. Just be like, screw you, I'm gonna go look for my bae. But okay, let's hear what she has to say. What is it? Well, I don't like to beat around the bush, so I'll get right to it. Why don't we team up? Team up? Yeah, what? You need me to explain it to you? I'm saying, why don't we go through a numbered door?
Even if we wanted to, that's impossible.
Why?
Jumpy's bracelet number is 5, mine is 6, and yours is 8. 11 plus 8 is 19, so we would have 1.
Yep.
Our digital root would be 1.
Yes.
I did it. I'm smart. But there's no number 1 door in the large hospital room. The only doors there are 3, 7, and 8.
Then we add another person.
Huh?
We would need Snake to get 3, to get 7. We would need another 6. So, Santa is, no, that's that's not gonna work. So we can only go through door 8? What, isn't that easy? 7. Yep. She was right. If they added 7, they could go through door 8. Then the 4 of them could go through the number 8 door. But, whoa, hold on a second. What about the other 4? Why don't you add them up? I don't want to. That was simple enough. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 equals 10. They're stuck at 1. The digital root for those 4 would be 1. That's right. And you know the number 1 door isn't in the big hospital room, right? Of course I know that.
No! Are you saying you'd leave them behind?
Of course not. What kind of a woman do you think I am? You don't want to know the answers to that, lady, but let's just say it starts with a B. Once we get off the ship, we could come back and rescue them, couldn't we? Then we wouldn't really be leaving them behind. Don't try to lie to us. I don't think you do anything of the sort. Ooh, that was June. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I just said that as Junpei. Sometimes it's a little hard because their names are so similar, so I look at it on the corner of my eye and I'm like, okay, that's June, or no, that's Junpei, and I say the wrong person's voice. Focus, Binks.
Don't try to lie to us. I don't think you do anything of the sort.
Really? Why do you think that?
You remember, don't you? We have less than 5 hours left. Even if we manage to escape, there's no way we could come back to rescue them in less than 5 hours.
Well, you never know until you try. No. You're not thinking this through. Even if we brought 7 with us, we wouldn't be able to get off the ship. The 4 of us couldn't open door 9.
Thank you.
Okay, it is hidden when exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Yeah, that's right. The digital root for us 4 will be 8, so we'd have to add Ace to make 9.
Right. Unless we bring Ace too, we'll be stuck. Haha. Backfired. Little witch. Lotus scratched the back of her ear. Well, that's unfortunate. She didn't sound particularly bothered by what Junpei said, nor did she seem particularly surprised.
Well, let's try and find another way, okay? A way to get out of here with all 8 of us.
That's impossible. Are you being serious? You do know that only 5 people at most can go through one of the numbered doors, right? The number 9 isn't going to be an exception to that rule. Regardless, at least 3 people will get left behind. Oh, she's right. That's awful. You're right. That is true. The moment he said it, Junpei felt a chill run down his spine. It was true. How Lotus could remain cavalier about so terrifying a prospect was beyond him. When they found the number 9, they would have to choose which 3 of them would die. Lotus's forehead furrowed. Do you think I could have a moment alone? There are some things I need to think about. Whatever. We don't want to talk to you no more anyway. Junpei and June turned and began walking away from Lotus. Talking to her had left them feeling ill. Junpei's heart felt heavy and his step sluggish. But he told himself pessimism would get them nowhere. See, this is a completely different Junpei from ZTD. Wow. I mean, we know why, but still. So, he forced himself to smile and turned to June. Let's just focus on finding Snake for now, okay?
Yes, you're right. We can think about those other things later.
Junpei nodded. Alright, where should we go next? Okay, let's go here. Let's go take a look at the first-class cabin. It's really close. They turned around and took off down the hallway to their left. Outside of the first-class cabin, they found Clover. She was standing in front of the wall. Poor girl. She's not looking anymore? Well, she probably ran around already. She was staring at a meaningless point on the wall, her eyes blank. What should Junpei do? We could try to talk to her, but I don't know how well that's gonna go. Are you alright? He did his best to sound friendly, but Clover didn't respond. Look, I know you're really worried, but, He could think of no words to say that didn't sound hollow and fake. Junpei hesitated. Clover was so consumed by worry and fear that Junpei feared it would crush her. Her actions didn't surprise him. She had suddenly lost her brother, who she seemed to have been very close to.
Lone.
Her voice was thin and barely audible.
Lone. Lone. I said, leave me alone!
Sorry for shouting, guys. I might have to check on that during the editing process. Suddenly she was screaming.
You're so annoying! Just go away and leave me alone! Just looking at you guys is pissing me off! Go away, okay? Just go somewhere else! Stop bothering me!
Wow. We were just trying to help. Junpei was taken aback. Such anger and hate. June's eyes had gone wide with surprise as well.
Why are you still here? Didn't you hear me? Fine, forget it. If you aren't gonna leave, then I'll just...
Alright, let's go, June.
Yeah.
Jeez. They turned and left Clover. As they did, Junpei glanced back over his shoulder to see Clover wiping tears from her face. Clover had driven home the misery of their situation, but Junpei told himself that getting depressed would get him nowhere but depressed. For Clover's sake, they had to find Snake, and fast. He did his best to push away the misery and depression and force a smile. So, where do you think we should go next? Didn't we just go to the casino? Let's go the hallway with all the rooms. Hey, why don't we go back to C deck? We can take a look at the hallway with all the rooms.
Okay, let's get going then.
Together they ran down the stairs. Ahead of them, farther down the hallway, they spotted Ace. Hey! Snake! Where are you? See, he's the only one who's actually looking for Snake. Answer me if you're there. Junpei paused. What did he want to do? Let Ace handle it? No, let's go talk to him. With June in tow, Junpei jogged up to Ace. Hearing their footsteps, he turned to greet them. Ah, hello there. Snake is... well, that's obvious, isn't it? I assume you haven't found him yet either. Junpei nodded.
I really wonder where he could have gone.
Well, wherever he's disappeared to, we must find him as quickly as we can, for Clover's sake. Aw, I like Ace. Aw, even June is blushing. I think she has a little crush on him. He's probably one of those really distinguished gentleman types.
Right.
June's face looked kinda enraptured. See? By the way, do you think Clover and Snake are really siblings? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Well, yeah, I kind of agree. He doesn't need to say that just because they don't look alike. The question seems somehow odd to Junpei. Why? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? They don't look alike at all. Ace looked at him for a moment and then spoke. Yes, now that you mention it, they don't. Now that you mention it. Still, there are a great many siblings who do not look like one another. It certainly isn't rare. Junpei wasn't sure why, or even if he was seeing what he thought he was, but he could have sworn that Ace's face tightened as he spoke. Huh, that's strange. At any rate, we really must find Snake as soon as possible. The clock is ticking. We really can't afford to waste any time. Very well, let's get back to the search, shall we? You can leave this area to me.
All right. Let's go, Jumpy.
At June's urging, they left. They found themselves back at the stairs, but Junpei's mind was in turmoil. There was so much to think about, but no, it would have to be put aside for now. As Ace had said, finding Snake was their top priority. Junpei did his best to clear his mind. And there goes my headset again. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to use this headset. It's been driving me crazy since pretty early on. But if it's not broken, then I'm not gonna get rid of it, so... Oh well. Alright, where should we go next? Let's go... I guess we can go back? I feel like it's such a waste of time. Let's go back to the large hospital room. Why don't we go back to the big hospital room?
Okay, let's go then.
They turned and headed back toward the large hospital room. On their way to the large hospital room, Junpei and June noticed Santa standing next to the number 3 door. Junpei paused. What should Junpei do? Of course you're gonna talk to him. It's kind of rude not to. They walked up to Santa. What are you doing? What? You can't tell? I'm checking out the red.
Why? Is there something bothering you?
What? It's not bothering you?
Huh?
The guts of this red. Why wouldn't you wonder who the hell put it back in here?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm curious too, but...
Who do you think did it? Santa's eyes narrowed as he looked at June. She shook her head.
I don't know.
Well, what about you, Junpei? Who do you think fixed this thing for us?
Honestly, 0. Because it can't be Snake, so...
I think it was probably 0. Why? Isn't that obvious? He's the guy who set this whole thing up. You don't think that should mean the opposite? Seems to me like that means he didn't do it. I mean, who do you think took that stuff out in the first place? Probably 0. Yeah, exactly. Then why the hell would he put them back in after he'd taken them out himself? It just doesn't make sense. Why do all that work? Good question. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So what happened then? Who put that stuff back in the reds? Junpei furrowed his brow. So, in other words, one of us is the person who fixed the red. Santa grinned. Bingo. We have a winner. But if that's true, then the person who did it doesn't want the rest of us to know they fixed the red. Yeah. But why? No idea. Maybe if they come clean on that, it means we'd find out something else. Something bad. Something bad. Don't know. But whatever it is, it's gotta be worth hiding. Of course. It could have something to do with Snake's disappearance. You think maybe they did something to Snake? It's not out of the question. Junpei stared at Santa. There was something about him that made Junpei worry. At first he'd assumed the other man wasn't terribly clever, but Junpei was beginning to think he would need to reevaluate that assessment. Yeah, I think there's more to Santa than meets the eye. Remember the whole stocks thing and what else was he talking about? This whole thing with the four-leaf clover and luck, faith, hope, and whatever. I don't know. He's a weird guy. When Santa spoke again, his voice was quiet. Look, if you trust anybody in this game, you're gonna lose. You've gotta be careful. The person you trust the most could turn out to be the one who stabs you in the back. With that depressing suggestion, he turned and quietly walked away. Junpei and June looked at one another and smiled awkwardly. Yeah, because they trust each other the most. Please don't stab us in the back. Awkward. Where would they go next? I still gotta look around? Can we just finish searching? They looked everywhere they could think of, but Snake was nowhere to be found. Because we already went to all those places, so... Man, what happened to my bae? Where are you at? Lotus looked around at 6 frustrated faces and spoke. Okay, hang in there, guys. I think I'd like to finish this section, so it might be a longer episode, especially because I haven't played this game in a while, so let's dig in. We can't keep looking for Snake. Wherever he is, he's not here. We need to get moving. Junpei couldn't disagree with what she was saying. Snake seemed to have completely disappeared. There was no point to wasting any more time. I agree, unfortunately. The others seemed to be having similar thoughts, but they stayed silent. Finally, 7 spoke. We don't got a choice. Lotus is right. We're not gonna find Snake. There's a problem, though. We've got to figure out who's gonna go through which door. Yes, I have a proposal. She walked back and forth across the floor, her heels clicking against the wood. Of course. Here we go. Finally, she stopped. Why don't we decide on one person to sacrifice? Oh, no. Oh, no. You... Sacrifice? Well, perhaps that is a bit of a harsh word, but yes. You've all figured it out by now, haven't you? We can't all make it through these doors. If we split into 2 teams of 4 and 3 people respectively, then 3 people will be left behind. If we split into 2 teams of 5 and 2 people respectively, then 2 people will be left behind. But if we split into 2 groups of 3 and leave 1 person out, then only 1 person will be left behind. Leaving behind 3 people with 2 teams of 4 and 3. She's probably... yeah. It wasn't pleasant, but she was right. There wasn't any way that the numbers worked out. If one group was 4, the other group would always have a digital route that didn't match a door. When 7 spoke, his voice was strained. Then you're saying we gotta decide who's gonna stay behind? Yes, we do. Given our circumstances, it's logically and morally the best solution. If the other 6 are to survive, then 1 person has to sacrifice themselves. No, that's too cruel. What's so cruel about it? What? Come on, Lotus. To just sacrifice someone like that. Then what's your plan? Maybe we should sacrifice 2 people instead of just 1? That's not what I meant. We shouldn't sacrifice anyone. I told you, that's impossible. Wake up. Whoa, calm down, you 2. Santa stepped between Lotus and June. Catfight. Look, what Lotus is trying to say is that you should aim to bring the greatest amount of happiness to the greatest amount of people, right? Exactly. That's how democracy works. And for that reason, I think the only fair way to decide who will be sacrificed is through a vote. What do you think?
No, that's terrible.
I'm not asking you. Shut up. Dang. Damn. Okay. What about you, Santa? Me? Well, I agree, I guess. Alright, that's 1 vote for. Counting mine, that's 2. 7? I can't say I agree with you, but we don't exactly have a choice. If we don't do something, we're all gonna die. Glad to see you get it. If I can get 1 more vote, then it's decided. What about you, Clover? Clover had moved away from the group and was sitting on one of the beds. Her whole body drooped. Junpei didn't know if she'd even heard Lotus's proposal. Lotus walked over to Clover and gently laid a hand on her shoulder. Your brother has to be behind one of the numbered doors. But how? We searched everywhere, but we didn't find him. Doesn't that mean he has to have gone through one of them somehow? Clover slowly lifted her face. She's slick, getting through to her like that. Let's go look for him together, okay? If we sacrifice one person, then we can go look for him. You agree with me, right? Clover nodded once. The motion carries. You witch. The way she just giggled? Come on now. Oh, yee. Lotus spun around and walked toward Junpei. Now, let's start a vote to... That won't be necessary. Ace had barely spoken for Lotus's entire speech, and everyone jumped a little. 6 pairs of eyes turned to look at him. He didn't seem to notice or even care. I will stay.
Ace, no! Why?
The nice old man, no! I'd rather it be a witch like Lotus. That should solve our problem, yes. Everybody's shocked.
Ace, what are you saying? No, you can't do that. That won't solve anything.
June's voice shook, and she looked around desperately for someone to agree with her. Ace simply looked at her. June, I'm afraid you may have misunderstood me. I said I would stay, but I never said I would sacrifice myself.
Huh?
I trust you, each and every one of you. I believe you'll come back for me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's optimistic, and then there's just nuts. Those doors only go one way. You go in, you don't come out. If we go through them, you won't be able to return, correct? Yeah. True, but that will not be the case once you've escaped from the ship. What? Please, I beg you, once you've escaped, come back and rescue me. Ideally, within the time Mid-Zero has given us. No, that's ridiculous. There's no way we could get back in time. Finally, Junpei could hold his tongue no longer. We've only got 5 hours left. We don't even know where the hell we are. How on earth are we gonna find someone to come and rescue you? Then perhaps you would prefer to stay instead of me? Or perhaps you would be willing to leave June behind? Dang. Ace's voice was dignified and without a hint of cruelty or malice. Junpei had no rebuttal. You see, there's no other choice. Then I see we've come to our conclusion. Go on, don't worry yourselves about me. Go, quickly! Junpei stood frozen by indecision, unable to move. June bit her lip so hard that Junpei feared she would break the skin. Santo stood against the wall, calm and aloof. Seven tore his beanie from his head and turned it over anxiously in his hands. Only Clover stared at Ace, with an expression Junpei was unable to decipher. Lotus's attitude, however, was different from the others, of course. Good. Let's accept his kind offer, then. She smiled, her eyes bright. Oh my god, she makes me sick. Ace answered with a smile of his own. Good. I think this is the best for me. Perhaps I'll be able to take a nap. Perhaps it's my age, but I get tired so easily these days. As he spoke, Ace lowered himself down to the floor next to one of the beds. Oh boy. This is not good. Okay. From somewhere deep in the ship, Junpei suddenly heard the screeching of metal on metal. It was almost as if the ship were screaming. Would it really hold until their time limit was up? Already, D-deck was flooded. In the sudden silence, the only sound was the sad metal wail of the ship. Unsurprisingly, it was Lotus who spoke first. Well, what are you waiting for? We're wasting time. Why don't we hurry it up? As if a spell had been broken, the others all began to talk at once. You're right. We should get going. That's all we can do right now.
7.
Seriously, honestly, I was getting kind of sick of listening to you guys talk.
You too, Santa? I have to find my brother. Wait, all of you. Let's just calm down and think about this. There has to be a way to get everyone out. There has to be. Right, Jumpy? Say something.
Yeah, let's think. There's gotta be another way. His words sounded hollow and fake.
Fine. Forget about it. I'll figure it out on my own.
She spun around and ran toward Ace. He had slumped down next to the bed when June grabbed his arm and pulled.
Come on, Ace. Please stand up. You can't give up yet. We just have to sit down together and think about this. We'll figure out a way that we can all get out of here.
Then it happened. Ace fell forward. Oh no. So, I think I'm going to leave this episode right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm very happy to be getting back to recording this game. And we'll see whenever I can incorporate Piccolo's voice acting. So, until next time, hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.